Hello, everyone. Today I have a very special guest. This is Leah. She also goes by Kitty, so we can call
Yeah.
her either one. And we're going to talk about some different things here. We're going to talk about some health issues that she's had. And then we're going to move into her as would you call yourself a medium?
I would call myself a psychic medium and paranormal investigator.
Okay. So we're going to go from her healthcare issues to how and why she became a medium and how she might be able to help people using her skills that not a lot of people actually have. So, thank you for coming in. I really do appreciate you coming on here with me.
Yeah, no problem.
So, let's start with your health issues.
Oh, well, there's a laundry list of them. Let's go in age of progression when everything started. So I was born with something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. To put it in layman's terms, I am Gumby. My entire body is completely double jointed. I mean, I can do things that most people, oh, you can't see. There we go. Things like this do not hurt me.
Hi,
Yeah.
Janet. I can do that, but I don't think I have the syndrome.
So it's a little bit different with mine because all of my ligaments are more like silicone than they are a rubber band. So most people, your ligaments are kind of like this ponytail. Okay. So if I were to stretch this out and release it, it goes right back immediately. People with Ehlers-Danlos, when we stretch, it does not immediately go back. And the longer we stretch, the longer it takes to go back. So I was
Okay.
born with that. And also something called osteogenesis imperfecta, which is brittle bone disease, which basically means that my body does not create enough collagen to give me hard bones. So I, at 37, have the bone makeup of about an 80-year-old woman. With that, through age, I also ended up with arthritis, osteoporosis, endometriosis. I which I got diagnosed with at 14. It's really rare to get it that early, but I guess I won the lottery.
No,
Um,
yippee.
I ended up now I'm 37 now. I now have gastroparesis. I've had hypoglycemia my whole life. So, and it's funny because everybody looks at it and they're like, oh, that's so many disorders. Like maybe someone's misdiagnosing you. Like, unfortunately, the main diseases I have, the main three diseases that I have, which are osteogenesis imperfecta, Ehlers-Danlos, and fibromyalgia, cause a myriad of other diseases and disorders. And so generally, if you get sick with one, you start getting sick with all these other ones. And then before you know it, you go into the doctor and they look at you and they go, you're crazy. And you go, no, I'm not. Do the tests. And they do the tests and they come back and say, how did this happen? And you go, because you wouldn't treat me when I told you something was wrong. So that's my health background.
Okay,
In
so
short.
did this have anything to do with the psychic stuff? Or how did you find out that you could be a psychic? I mean, how does one turn into a psychic? How do you
Um,
know?
I think everybody has a different path. In the case of me, I come from over 10 generations of psychics, mediums, witches, gypsies. I was born in the USSR. My entire family is from there. We came here in 89. And so I was literally raised in it. I mean, my mother, my grandmother, they were teaching us how to make potions and connect to the earth and the astral planes, I think, before we even knew what they were. So it's not something that I necessarily learned to do or had to find out how to do. It's something that in my family was nourished from the first age that we even showed having an ability. For me, it was when I was talking to my a family member about another family member who had passed, and I was talking about how they were hanging out and just like kind of sitting there, and they're like, "You can see that," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, I have to tell, and it was it wasn't like a scared moment. It was an excited, like, oh my God, it's happening. We have to tell your mom. And it was this like big deal. My mom was happy. She called her girlfriends over. It was in my house, it was celebrated. It wasn't ever, I would get in more trouble for not practicing my craft than I would for practicing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
And
I grew up much different.
You have a Beatles song written about you.
I do.
Born in the USSR.
I do.
That's just an aside note. Okay, so I'm interested in this psychic stuff just because
Okay.
I don't care what it is. If somebody can get better based on something that's not conventional medicine, I think they should at least try it.
Yes.
Because different things work for different people. And I think the mind is very, very strong and if a psychic there's people out there that if you tell them something, they're going to believe it, right? Especially if they really believe that you have some sort of ability. Yeah, that other people don't. So,
well, the beautiful thing about it is that when it comes to things like spirits, magic, it exists whether you believe it or not. And the funny thing is most people don't understand that America is one of very few countries where it's looked at as weird or odd or strange, because just about everywhere else in the world, it's celebrated. You show a skill and it's celebrated and nourished. And people, even here in America, they practice it in their everyday life without realizing it. When you pray, you're saying an incantation. You're saying a spell. It is, because all a spell or an incantation is they are words with energy and meaning behind them. When people pray to whoever they believe in, Jesus, Allah, God, whatever, Buddha, they do so in a raw, energetic form. They are pushing their energy, their soul with those words, hoping that it reaches its destination. That is an incantation. You get sick, you make soup. Congratulations, you made yourself a potion. I mean, little things like you touch something that you don't like and it feels funny, and you brush your hands. You're shaking off the bad juju. So it's not that people don't practice it or not even have the ability. Everybody has the ability. It's whether or not you are tapped into that ability. And the best way to do that is meditation. Hands down.
Right. Janet, if you have any questions, which I'm sure you probably will, please ask, because I find this fascinating. I don't know much about it. I guess one question I have about this is, are there people out there that don't have the skill that try to do this and give everybody else a bad name?
Yes, absolutely. There are people out there who are fakers. There are people out there who pretend to do it. You see a lot of them on TikTok. You'll see this. Stop what you're doing. My cards have told me I have a message for you. No, you don't have a message for me. You know how I know you don't have a message for me? When did I connect to your cards? I did not.
Right.
A true psychic, if you ask them for a card reading, they won't ask you the question. You know why? Because if we know what your question, okay, let me back up. One, we already know what your question is intuitively. Down to, I usually know what deck somebody is going to pick. I still ask them. I give them the choice because it needs to be their choice. But we know. So a real psychic won't ask you a question like, what's your question? A real psychic will say, look at my cards, connect to my cards until I tell you to stop. Now, don't say a word and think about your question. Do not say it out loud. Think about it. They'll shuffle their cards. They will give you an answer. If somebody needs to know your question or they can't answer you, they do not have a gift. They may understand how to read the cards. They may be a good shuffler. Can you trust their message? No. Why? because it's all based on energy. If your energy is not connected to the cards, if your energy is not connected, you won't get a response. There has to be a connection of energy. And that's how everything works. Everything in this world works off energy. Our heartbeat, our blood flow, our brain, everything works off energy. Psychics work off of the energy that you cannot see, but that you can feel.
Are you able to heal people?
I think to an extent I could if I did that practice, but that's not one of the practices I do. I definitely believe in things like Reiki healing, sound healing, alternative methods of healing because they work. I've done them myself. But it is not something that I have learned to do because that is not my skill set. Another thing that a lot of people misconceive is that if you're a psychic, you can do all the psychic things. That's like saying, oh, you're a mechanic, you can fix any car.
Yeah.
Whoa. There's a difference between a combine and a Ford SUV.
Absolutely.
So it's the same thing with psychics. There's a big difference between all the different types of psychics and light workers and energy workers. And it's not only the good, it's the bad too. I mean, just like you have people who do good work, you have people who do bad work. And then you have people like me who are in the middle, because I am a very big component of FAFO, freak around, find out. Am I allowed to curse?
Probably
I won't
not
curse.
too much.
Okay, I'll be good.
Let's not.
So,
let's not.
Yeah. So if you want to F around and find out, I am the person that will F around and show you and let you find out. A lot of people are against that. A lot of people say you have to be good or you have to be. No. Life is gray. Okay. Everything is gray matter. There is nothing in the world that is absolutely good or absolutely evil. Nothing. Everything has a glimmer of light and a glimmer of darkness. I don't care if you're God himself. Everything has good and bad in them. It is what makes you good or bad is, do you primarily choose to do good or do you primarily choose to do bad? Do you primarily think positively? Do you primarily think negatively? Because good and bad, it isn't just good and evil. You can have someone who is the sweetest person on the planet, but they think negatively all the time, which will create negative energy within them.
Okay, so what do you do for people?
So I do card readings with oracle cards.
And what will that do for them? Because I don't know what a card reading is. I mean, I've seen the people on TikTok with the cards, but I've never really watched them. So I don't know what they do. And I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, essentially a card reading is, and it sucks because I think you were going to pick the Alice deck, and I need to find where I put it. And you're laughing because I'm right.
I don't know what the decks even are.
So it'll be funny when you pick your deck. Essentially, these are oracle cards. You have two different types of cards. You have tarot cards, you have oracle cards. Tarot cards are a lot more like playing cards. It's, all the different houses and everything else. Oracle cards are a lot more direct. With a tarot card, you'll get like the Six of Wands and it'll be turned a certain direction and you have to remember what that means. Oracle cards literally tell you what they want to say. This one says
into the situation.
Yeah, bring love into the situation. So I'll know if I get this card upright, I know that the person needs to, and this is where it gets hard because it literally depends on the situation. It might be that they actually have to bring love into the situation. It might be, this might represent positivity. This might represent a million things. If it's upside down, that means it's something that they're not doing. So it essentially, if you had a question like, gee, I really wonder if I'm doing the right things in business. Am I really trusting the right people? Kind of like you would be asking in a prayer, like, okay, guide me. That's what card readings are. It's a physical representation of energetic guidance. There you go.
That
It
makes
is a
sense. Okay.
physical representation of energetic guidance, because when someone connects to the cards and they put their energy into them and the cards store that energy, when I am shuffling the cards and when they are thinking about it, I'm a horrible shuffler. I obviously, when you shuffle, you can't see what's going on, but energy places them where they need to be to make the answer make sense. But also, when that person is connecting to these cards, I can tell if it's going to be a light or a heavy question literally by the weight of my cards. Because when somebody asks me a really heavy or a really serious question or something that's really important to them, my cards will literally feel heavier. When someone asks a really light question, they will feel lighter. Um,
But
it, it,
didn't you say they don't even have to ask the question because you already know what the question is?
well, so yeah, I mean, I guess I don't mean ask the question like verbally. I mean when they're in their
Oh,
head asking.
okay. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So when they're thinking about what they need answered, and it doesn't have to be a question. You can think about a situation like, you know what, I was fighting with my best friend, and this might be a relationship breaking thing. Um, I don't even know what to do. And you're thinking about that while you're trying to think of your question. And it's funny because the cards won't necessarily ask a question that you ask yourself in your mind. They'll answer the thing that you are thinking about most prominently.
You've already got somebody that wants a card
I
reading.
know. It happens all the time.
And
There's always one that's like, yes, this is
I
my
well,
moment.
no, I know Jana very well, and I think, she's a extremely intelligent lady, and I think it's because, at least on the surface, it appears like you know what you're talking about. I mean, you can kinda tell if somebody's
Full of it.
yeah, you can tell if somebody's wishy-washy or if they're but you seem very intelligent and well-spoken and
It's funny because I was I have autism, and I learned a long time ago.
no, we
What?
would never know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never know
Thank
that.
you. But I learned a long time ago that when people have a hard time understanding me and understanding what I'm trying to say, because my brain doesn't necessarily work in the most normal terms, I think of normal terms and I put them in those terms. So I've noticed that, especially when I'm talking to people who might not believe in it or have doubts in it, when I put it into relative terms that people can understand, it makes it easier for them to open up to the possibility that, hey, whether I believe it or not, this is real. And usually after a few minutes of talking or something simple like a card reading, um, they look at me and they go, "Oh wow, this really is real." Because I can look at people, and if I look at you and talk to you for long enough, I will pick up on your energies. And I've literally had times where I've been talking to people before and stop myself because I can literally hear them like asking themselves about something. And I'll just stop right there and be like, okay, so just do this for that situation. They look at me like, how did she know I was thinking about that? Because your energy is screaming at me.
Wow. It's
So, yeah.
amazing to me. I mean, it's I see people like even in Newport, where I live, it's a little
Yeah.
coast town. There's a building that says tarot psychic, and I drive by it every day. And I've always wondered, crystal
I
ball and
always
all
say
that.
go with your gut.
Do you do
If it
crystal ball stuff?
I can. I do. I can. I don't like doing it. It's called scrying. Um, Scrying is very, at least for me, it takes up a lot of energy, to the point where after I'm done, I'm exhausted. Because that's
Uh,
another thing. I mean, when you're doing things like card readings, mediumship, it's like running a marathon. I mean, it's like working out. It's like doing physical labor. I mean, your energy is being sucked out of you. You might not be up and walking around, but you're still expelling enormous amounts of energy. So, can I do it? Yes. Have I done it? Yes. Do I do it? No. I can absolutely do it on YouTube, Janet, and I actually don't even need to be looking at you to do it. When we get to that portion, I will do it just how we're sitting now. If you want to jump,
So we
yeah,
can do it right now.
whenever she wants. Yeah, whenever she wants. It does not matter to me.
You want to do it now, Janet? I mean, this could be very, very interesting. Let's see what she says. She's there. I know she's there.
Yeah,
she's
thinking about it. It's kind of like, kind of, maybe, I don't know. Now I feel called out.
Well, I don't want her to do something she's not comfortable with.
It's an ink moment. It's an ink
up to
moment.
her. It's up to her completely.
It's like when you're getting on the roller coaster and you know that
oh God,
it's about to be a wild ride, but it's like that excited, nervous feeling.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's going on in the brain right now.
And whether you want this, posted out to
Do I
every
really want to know?
In the whole wide world too. That's the other question. I mean, are you?
No. So whenever I do readings, I keep it I keep it generic enough to where the open population won't know what I'm talking about, but the person I'm talking to will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is a well-honed skill where I do not, I will say only enough specifics to where the person understands and knows what I mean.
So what Kitty's telling us, guys, whoever's in here, is she'll do a reading for you right now. That's what she's telling us.
I am. I will.
I should get one. I should get one.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's start with you then.
Okay, we can start with me.
Okay. I'm going to show you decks. You're going to tell me after I show you all of them, which one you felt the most connection to. And by that, I mean, it literally kind of feels like it's calling to you, like it's saying, hi.
Okay.
Alice. Moon. Or Rebels.
I like Alice.
I told you.
I know. I don't know why. I
still give everybody the choice, but I always know what deck they're going to go with. And I know that Lisa's going to do it. And I even know what deck she's going to choose, but Janet, I'm going to give her Janet. I'm sorry, Janet, but I'm going to give free will. So, and if you're wondering why I knocked on my cards just now, anytime somebody does a reading, if they don't knock on their cards first, they have not released the energy of the last person. Make them knock on their cards, please.
Okay. Janet says she'll do it, but we'll do mine first.
So, okay, I'm going to show you these cards. I want you to look at them until you connect to them. I will be able to tell when. Create an emotional connection with them. Mom? Okay. Now, think. Do not speak, but think about what you want guidance on, answers to, anything. You'll know when you're ready for me to stop. I warn you, I cannot shuffle to save my life, which is why it's funny that I'm as accurate as I am. But you'll tell me when to stop. And it can take as long or as short as you need it to. But think only about that thing in as much detail as possible. That's interesting.
Okay. Oh, that one must be an important one. It jumped out of the deck.
Yeah. Feels almost like nervous situation. You need to get to know the new you. That's what this card says. It's hard to read because it's holographic. It says, who in the world are you? You need to get to know this new version of yourself. You need to spend time with this new version of yourself. And you need to discover the lesson, which you have not discovered yet. So I'm going to guess it's also going to say that you're not listening to yourself. I'm going to guess that. It hasn't said that yet, but I'm going to guess that that's coming in there. But you're going to have to find the lesson in this. It's not going to be presented to you. Yeah, you're not. The best way to word it is you're not declaring your freedom in the situation. Like there's an amount of freedom that's allowed here, and you're not declaring that freedom. There we go. You need to be a leader in the situation. You need to lead the way. This is you're the guide in the situation, and so you need to step into that guide role. Don't be afraid. There's fear, and there's no need for fear. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, so stop being afraid of it. There you go. You're rare and free. You have what you're presenting, and what you're doing with this is unique. It's because not for what it is, but for how you present it. You are presenting it in a way that most others don't, and you need to keep that uniqueness. Again, become braver. You need to really get that inner faith, get that inner strength out, and really be bold with it. Don't embrace the newness of what's happening. Yeah. You're not making a mistake. You're worried about mistakes that might be being made. Don't be worried about the mistakes. Mistakes will happen regardless. But how do I put it? It's almost kind of like, it's almost as if you're eating a piece of bread, but you're picking up all the crumbs before you take the next bite. And that's counterproductive to what you need to be doing. So stop trying to fix all the mistakes as they're happening is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
You're not totally trying to discover anything right now. This isn't this isn't a learning phase. Totally. There's a different way of doing things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a learning phase. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. This is going to continue for a very long time. This is a mortality card, but it's upside down. So if it was right side up, that means this would be something that's short-lived. If it's upside down, that means that this will continue for a long time, which is great. That's what you ultimately want. You want it to be nice and wonderful, and it will be, but it won't be until you start working on those things. You are, in a way, this is almost like a service to the world. And you need to continue preaching what you're preaching. Keep giving the messages to the white rabbit, so to speak. Okay, keep spreading it. Investigate your mistakes. Okay, don't necessarily stop and fix every single one of them. Look back at them, investigate them, then take that new knowledge and move forward with that new knowledge. Stop trying to fix it in the middle of it happening, because you're not learning anything when you're doing that. If you don't make the mistake, how can you learn from it? You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's nothing that's irreversible in this situation. So even if you make a mistake, it's not like you can't go back and fix it, which is what we just talked about. The situations that are arising are situations that can easily be fixed. It's almost like you would rather stop it before you have to fix it, because if you let it get to the point where you have to fix it, it seems like it's a lot of work, and it's work that you don't want to do. But it's work that you have to do. Yeah, you need to kind of drink your own poison. Take your own advice, basically. Because you're giving really good advice to other people, and it's advice that you should be listening to, but you're not, and you're ignoring your gut. And listen to you, drink the juice that you're pouring everybody else. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of there's a huge conception here. Like there's a lot of there's a huge idea flow. There's a huge like there's so many things coming out at once, and it's like hard to figure out where to go because it's like, oh, I can do this and I can do this and I can do this and I can do this, and it's almost so much that it's hard to pick what to do next. Almost like a million different options. Breathe. When you take a breath and you compartmentalize all of those new ideas and you really look at them, write them down. Because when you write them down and you see them physically, you will be able to assign what to do when, and it won't seem as overwhelming because it's a lot less than you think it is. It's because you're thinking about it. And so when you're thinking about one part of it, you're thinking about 50 more parts of it. And so it makes every single choice massive. Write it down because your brain that's how your brain compartmentalizes. So you're somebody who I can tell you 30 times, but it won't sink in until you read it. It won't sink in until you physically see it. So that's what you need to do with all these choices. And keep your temper. Stop getting upset about this because the funny thing is that you're not even getting upset at other people. You're getting upset at yourself, not at other people. And you're getting upset at yourself because of other people. Because you're internalizing not just your mistakes, but their mistakes, but that's not your job. Your job is to make the mistake, learn it, fix it, and move on. You are trying to cover up some of your mistakes as well because you just don't want to deal with them. They'll come out. So just deal with them. This card says wake up, which is kind of what I've been telling you. Is wake up, listen to yourself. Like it's gonna be okay. These mistakes will not kill you. You're not necessarily wanting to grow yet. You need to figure out where you are at this point before you're ready to grow. And that's a very smart move and one that I fully support. Don't grow quite yet because if you do, it might get to the point where you look at it and you go, oh, this is too much. Solidify where you are now, then grow. Solidify, grow. And that's how you're going to have to do it for it to be successful. Solidify, then grow. Solidify, then grow. Not everything is fair. There's going to be things that will happen that just aren't fair, but that's life. I feel like some of them have already happened and some of them are starting. It'll be a small wave of crap that happens, but sit through it. It's going to pass. Manage to be glad. Even if you fake smile through it, just make yourself some happiness. Again, set your course, set your plan. Really make that plan. Stop forgetting who you are. Like, dig in and remember where all of this started. Because in some ways, you feel like you've lost sight of that, of why you started this, because it has grown to a point where it's hard to keep that really deep connection to it. It's still in there. You just have to wake it up. That passion is still there, but you need to wake it up. Nobody will do that for you. Yeah, shine bright like a candle. Exactly what we talked about a second ago. This is not going to happen overnight. It's not an overnight change. This is going to be a few weeks and months for you to do. And stop wasting time. You're not using your time well, because the longer that you procrastinate on this, the longer it's going to take. Procrastinating on this situation will only make it draw out. The situation is going to play out the way it's meant to play out. It's up to you how quickly or how slowly that is. Ground yourself. Yeah, again, ground yourself. Return back to reality. Find that passion again. We literally talked about this. Follow your own good advice. Upside down.
Yep.
Yeah, all of these are now repeating. So I just want to see if there's anything. There is one. There is a person in this situation who is giving you advice, but in your gut, it feels kind of off. Something feels off, either about the advice or the person. Trust your gut on that particular person. You know who I'm talking about. Trust your gut on that one. Just don't. Just bye. Okay, just that person. Just don't. It's not worth it. That's all I'm going to say about that person. And it's funny because this person in your life has been someone who has either always wished you very well or very ill. There has been no middle ground. The more you succeed, the more they will wish ill. Just don't. I know you want to. Just don't. Just don't. Please, for my sake, don't.
Okay.
God, I really want to like yell at this person right now. It's total nonsense. You're gonna have choices, and here's another thing: like this is gonna feel like a free fall, and it kind of does already. So just embrace it. There's you already know that you're right. You're certain in your path. So just stick with it. It's gonna be done the right way. Yeah, just get that belief in yourself back, and you'll see how things change and how quickly they change.
That's amazing.
So if you want to tell people your question, you may.
I don't think I want to do that. Not on here.
Okay.
Too many people.
Got it.
We'll see it. Are
Okay.
we ready? Are we ready for Janet?
Yes.
Do I need to do anything?
No, just I need to know when Janet's ready. If she wants to pop on the screen, that's totally up to you. It doesn't matter to me. I can do it either way. I can do it either way. Okay. You'll have to tell me later, Michael, because I feel like I know what it is, but I kind of want to know that I'm right.
Okay.
But that one person, like, it actually has me agitated, the way that you've been treated by this person, and it's very irritating.
Twinkie wants to do it too, she said.
Oh, I'm not seeing anyone's comments.
Well, I have to show them to you. I'm waiting for Janet. I'm waiting for Janet to respond. I'm pretty sure she's in here.
Oh, now I can see them.
Oh, now you can see them? Okay, good.
Now I can see them. Yes, Mary, I am doing readings. I would love to give you one as soon as we get Janet.
Where's Janet?
Oh, no. You know, we could always do Mary and come back to Janet in case Janet is gone.
I don't think she's gone. I'm pretty sure she's in here.
Unless it's doing what TikTok does and just ignores the comments. What are you girls doing?
No, I don't think these guys do that.
Close to our
Janet, where are you?
Lana, can you please put some socks on and shoes? Thank you. Do not let the cat out. Thank you. Sit. Sit.
I might be able to get her on here. Let's see.
Yeah. Until then, we'll just hang out.
Yeah.
I got this under control. Let's see. What can I tell you guys about? How can I expand everyone's knowledge? Does anybody in here meditate regularly?
I do.
Do you do grounding meditations?
I do mostly just, I want to say, in the moment meditations, you know, just, I guess you would call that grounding. How long have you been doing this?
About 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. 31, because I started when I was about 6.
Oh,
and
she
I'm
says she just
37.
recently started.
Then, Mary, one of the most important things for you is going to be to do, before anyone starts working with cards, things like that, do a few different things. One, do a meditation that removes curses, hexes, and generational curses. People don't believe in it. It is real. You can find those meditations free on YouTube, anywhere from half an hour to 3 hours long. Absolutely do that. It's a guided meditation. Second, you want to do a chakra aligning meditation. Again, 30 minutes to 3 hours long. You need to do that. Then you need to spend about a week doing a meditation that grounds you and opens up your pineal gland. Your pineal gland is an actual gland. Every person on earth has it, that is deep inside your brain.
I see you.
And it's also called the third eye gland.
Janet's ready.
So do those.
Whenever you
All
are.
right, Janet, my dear. I'm going to show you 3 different decks. You are going to tell me which one you feel the most connected to. Alice. I don't know why I'm asking. I know which one you're going to pick. Moonchild or Moon or Rebels. Which would you like?
Okay.
Don't know why I'm asking. I already know which one she's going to choose. But
Waiting very impatiently. Rebel, Moon, or Alice?
I can show them to you again.
There may be a delay in her.
Yeah, Rebel. Moon. Moon. Or Alice. Which deck would you like, Janet? Rebel, Moon, or Alice?
I do. What does that mean?
She dabbles. Janet, dear, which deck do you want me to read your cards from? Rebels, Moon, or Alice? Guys, if you see me going off to the side, it's because I am a nicotine smoker. I am smoking my nicotine vape. Off to the side so you guys don't have to watch it. Just thought I'd explain myself.
I don't know what she's doing. Where is she?
I don't know.
We'll
So,
give you her. We'll give you her all of her information, Twinkie, outside. So if you want to contact her, you'll be able to. You can do it now if you want. You can tell them what it is.
yeah, so the email is LADT and the word AND investigations at gmail.com. You can also reach me through my TikTok, which is pnw.kittyleah, I believe, or Leah Kitty, one of those two. I'll have to look that up. And then all of our social media is Life After Death Paranormal. It looks like this. This is our logo. So if you see that logo, that is our paranormal company.
So it's Moon. I'm texting her to see if I
Yeah.
can get her. Rebel
Alice.
or Alice.
Moon.
Because apparently she's sending us a lot of messages that aren't coming
Or
through.
Rebel.
So She's gonna moon. She wants moon.
Oh, okay. Then that must be Mary's. Interesting. Why? Yogi doesn't need food. He has an entire bowl. Oh. Sorry, my kids are home.
That's all right.
Okay. So, Janet, you are going to stare at these cards. You're going to get a connection to them. And once you do, I'll stop. Ooh. Heavy question. Okay. So, Janet, I want you to start thinking about what you want an answer to. I do not want you to ask me. I want you to think about it. When you are ready for me to stop, either put it in the chat or send Michael a text to stop. And we're going to start now.
I think she's way delayed. I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
But the text messages aren't. So.
Yeah, just tell her.
When you are ready for her to stop shuffling.
She can also just try to signal me. Please bring the dog in. I think she's done. I feel like she's done.
Okay. You would know.
Do you want to just double check with her?
I'm trying. I sent her a message. You like this, Twinkie? Yes, okay. Moon.
Perfect.
She said, okay, we're going to stop shuffling, Janet.
Okay, Janet. You do not have confidence in this situation. And confidence is going to be the key to this situation, just so you know. So you're going to have to bump up that confidence a bit, babe. You have a new romantic cycle. This is something new. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean a new relationship. It just means a new cycle of romance. There is a difference. Please do not mistake cycle of romance for relationship. Romance can be any number of things. It does not necessarily mean something sexual. It is just a new cycle of romance, of falling in love with something or someone. There we go. There is a personal issue that's reaching resolution or has reached resolution, and feels like it's more in the end process than anything else. You need to take and not give right now. You are giving. It's okay to be selfish. This is that time. This is the time to be selfish. It's not time to take action quite yet. You got to build that confidence first before you can move ahead. Yeah, this isn't quite the end of that tough cycle yet. So there's a little bit left to go. Hold on to your vision for the situation. Yeah, again, this situation isn't over yet. The conclusions aren't quite within reach yet because there's still things that need to happen for a conclusion to be reached. Again, do not make the first move. Do not be the first one to make a move, please. Um, what's going on with your pride? Why is your pride so, I don't want to say it's tattered because that's not the right word, but like you took a big hit to your pride, and you you're generally someone who is very like proud, inner pride. But that pride is struggling right now. So you need to really think about what you need to do to release, not what people around you need, but what you specifically, as in you, your body, your soul, you need to do to release. You're not looking at the bigger picture. You're compartmentalizing everything. You're looking at everything in little individual boxes. You need to get a bird's eye view because it'll make this situation a hell of a lot easier to deal with. You are not ready to release the negativity of the situation. You're holding on to it. And you don't feel like there's not a sense of security in the situation. The security is missing from this situation. You are close to achieving your goal. You have to work at it more. If you work at it harder, you'll get closer to it. This isn't going to have some kind of fiery climax. Like, it's not going to be like a big bang, a big wow at the end of it. It's, if anything, it'll be like nothing will come out of this situation. Okay, so when the situation's over, it's done. Nothing will come out of it. Nothing good, nothing bad. Quite literally, nothing. Your past seems to, it doesn't have a hold on the situation because this is upside down, but it is influencing how you're treating the situation. Not in a super, super, super heavy way, but it does have an influence. You're not taking the time out to breathe and, again, center yourself, get that pride back. So that's what you really need to do. Nothing is yet set in stone, which means that you have time to still turn this around and do the work that you need to do to get through this. It's a win-win situation. So regardless of what happens, you're going to win either way. It's going to be good for you either way. There is luck on your side in this situation. So you're not really, you have your guides and all of your energy behind you that's kind of watching out for you in the situation. Communication is going to be key. If you're not communicating, now is the time to start. Again, have faith in your dreams. You need to have faith in this process. You need to have faith that if you rebuild that courage that you had, that it will serve you well. Step out of your comfort zone. Like, don't be afraid to be all about yourself in this situation. You're not bringing love into the situation. You need to change that. You need to bring love into the situation, because love essentially heals everything. You're feeling like you're not good enough, and you are, which is funny because this feeling of not being good enough isn't necessarily a new feeling, but it's a feeling that you're really good at compressing and saying, I am good enough, and you're really good at fighting that feeling. But for some reason in this situation, you're not doing that. This isn't a prosperity situation. Like, I don't feel like there's money involved here either. You need to surrender to your divine. You need to surrender to what you believe in, because that's going to essentially help guide you into that pride that you need to find again. Again, work through your fears. We talked about this. There's not going to be anything huge that comes out of this. It's not going to be a powerful change. It's going to be very subtle, almost to the point where you might not even notice it. But the answers that you need are coming. You're going to get them. Stop hiding. You're not, Michael over here had the similar card, which is showing the world the real you. You're kind of hiding. Stop hiding. This isn't a situation where you should hide. You don't have a practical plan, so maybe create one. You're not taking this time to heal, so do that. When you do that, your energy is going to gain momentum, and it is going to make everything kind of move a little bit faster. There's no new start coming from this. Nothing is necessarily going to end. Meditate and contemplate. We talked about that already. You're not balancing your spirituality and practicality. We talked about that. Again, there's no hard work paying off because you're not doing the work. You're not wanting to adjust either. You're going to have to. Adjustment is necessary. Your commitment is not being tested. And then finally, it's an emotionally charged situation, but you need to believe in the impossible. You need to believe that even the unlikely outcome that you want is likely. And that's all I have for you. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm so sorry.
So, Janet, I think that we do see your comments, but I think they're delayed. I see you said I'm ready. I'm here. Can you see my responses? But I think that they're delayed. But she did the entire reading. So I don't know if you're seeing this in real time even for sure.
Yeah. If not, Janet, just reach out to me and I can give you another reading.
Well, this is all being recorded, so she'll be able to watch it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay, Twinkie, are you still here? I know Twinkie's got internet issues too sometimes because she's in a semi driving around the country.
Very cool.
There she is. Okay, Twinkie.
Yay. Hi, Twinkie. Okay, so same thing for you, ma'am. I am going to show you 3 different decks of cards. I would like you to pick one, the one that you connect to the most. We have Alice, Moon, and Rebels. Which one would you like? Alice, Moon, or Rebels? Yes.
We saw the bubbly stuff.
You're fine. Just don't touch it.
We get to do
We
all
were the
3
ones for
decks
Rebels.
today.
Well, it's funny because before we started, I knew that Alice and Rebels, they were jumping at me.
No, yay for the bubbly.
Girls. Shh. Room. It's cold outside. Fine. Go to dad's. These kids, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mary, my dear, you are going to focus on these cards until I tell you. Well, yeah, just focus on the cards. Connect, make a connection to them. People and their heavy questions. Good Lord. I swear. Okay. So, Mary, you've been in here for a bit. You know how this works. I will start shuffling. I do not want to know your question. Please do not tell me any details. I do, however, want you to think of the situation in as much detail as you can, and you are going to tell me when to stop shuffling. I am a horrible shuffler. Do not make fun of me. Cannot shuffle. That, and I have tiny little hands, and these cards are like the sides of my hands.
Janet wants me to give you her number, so I will do that after
Okay.
we're done here.
Beautiful. If I can get these. Oh my gosh. I don't like shuffling. I can't even use an automatic shuffler, which is what sucks.
Do they make them?
They make them, but you can't use them because then you're not going to get a reading.
Oh.
Because you can't put that kind of energy into the electronics. Okay. All right, Mary. Let's see, my dear. Stop talking to people about this situation. You have been Miss Blabbermouth for this situation.
Ooh.
So this needs to be an A-B conversation, and everybody else needs to see their way out. Do not stop talking to everybody about it. This is nothing new, which is probably why you're like, oh, great, blah, blah, blah. This is nothing new. This is not going beyond normal. Follow your own rhythm. That means exactly what it sounds like. Follow your own rhythm. Follow your own advice, kind of. There is a conscious connection here. So, I mean, both parties are actively involved in this situation. You have stopped listening for the truth. You're not listening for the truth. We'll find out in a minute if you should or you shouldn't, but right now you're not listening for the truth. This is not a forever situation. Like, this is not life beyond death type stuff. This is a mortality situation. It will eventually end. It will eventually not end, but like I feel like that was the wrong word to use. There will be resolve to this situation at some point. It's going to be something that greatly enriches your life. It's adding to the perfection of your life, or it will add to the perfection of your life. Don't die on your sword for this, please. This is not the hill to die on. This is not the point to trample into the ground. If you're going to pick a hill to die on, this is not the one at all. And get out of your head. Like, this is a heart situation. So you need to get into the right place. And that's probably why you're having such a hard time with the situation, is you're thinking of it practically and not emotionally, and you need to think of it emotionally. You've let a lot of love in, you've let a lot of negativity out, and so continue doing that in the situation. You're receiving, continue to receive, continue to take all of that in. Keep trusting your inner trust. Even listen to your gut. Okay, your head and your heart will always have their own agendas. Your gut does not. If your gut tells you it's off, it's off. If your gut tells you it's right, it's right. Listen to your gut. Forget what your head is saying. Forget what your heart is saying. What is your gut telling you? There are spirals of manifestation here. So we'll find out if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Again, no legacy of light. This is not going to be, in the grand scheme of things, a very long situation. What do you really feel about the situation? Like, what you need to sit down and really think about how you feel, not how you're expected to feel, not how other people want you to feel, not how you think other people think you should feel, not how you think you should feel. Like, what do you actually feel? You, as in you. And don't let other people's influence come into that. There will be an after the storm moment for this. Like, it's not all going to be how it is now. Not a heaven sent situation. It's a situation that happened because it happened. It's already, what you're asking for is already inside of you. You already have it. It's already a part of your being. It's already a part of who you are. It's going to come to life when you're ready for it to, but it won't come to life before that point. New birth, guarded, vigilantes. So, something new could arise. You don't have a big, bold vision for this situation. We'll find out if you should. You are the victim in the situation, not the aggressor. Victim and aggressor does not necessarily mean anything bad happened. Victim and aggressor literally means one person, it's happening to one person by another person. You are the victim in this person. The things are happening to you. It's not coming into form yet. It's just not. Again, not the end of the world. There is a power of attraction here. It's not ideal. I'll leave it at that because I think you know everything beyond that. So I'll just leave it at it's not ideal because I know that you understand what that means. You're free from judgment in this situation, and there is a lot of love in the situation. You're not being played the fool. Nobody's being played for a fool here. You're just not. You got to focus on the positivity. Just because certain things happen in the past doesn't mean that they'll repeat. Again, see the true you that's already been put back there. You don't know how you're feeling. We discussed that. Yeah, this is all repeating. So essentially, I mean, when you first off, be a little bit softer with the situation. You're being a little crass with it. Don't be so crass with it. And there is going to be an allegiance that you're going to have to release. You already know the person that you need to let go of, so let go of that person. Your gut is right. What you wants you to. I'm just looking for anything that's new and skipping over the ones that are. Yeah, I mean, everything else is the same. Look for the positivity. Release the person that you know you need to release. And just work on getting that kind of listening to that inner voice again. There we go. That's it. That's all your cards.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to, like I said, I'm going to put your information. Can you send me? Uh-oh, I lost her. She's gone. Okay, guys. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put her information. Oh, she's back. Good.
Sorry,
Good.
I hit the wrong button.
So I'm going to, if you can send me your contact information.
Yes.
I will put it in the description section. If anybody needs to get a hold of you, they want a reading, they have any questions, whatever, they'll be able to reach you through that. I am going to send Janet's number to you so you can connect with her. And is there anything else you want to tell the people out here?
Be respectful of your energy and others. Everybody has things that they're going through, and just be respectful of it. It's something I even have to practice every day myself. I am far from a saint, but before people start judging other people, before people start looking at people, really try compassion. We don't have enough compassion in this world.
I agree with you.
And people are so obsessed with themselves that they forget about everyone else in the world. So I would say if you guys are interested in energy work and light work and cards and reaching that, deeper sense of yourself, before you can begin that work, you need to really work on your inner self first and learn acceptability of not just people you like, but people you don't like. You need to learn to not cross the street when you see a homeless person because they're homeless, because when you have opened up your ability and you can see certain things, There are things you see in people and in properties that can bring you to tears. And another thing that I warn too is when you open a door, it's very hard to close. So before people start playing with cards, third eyes, ghosts, spirits, all of those metaphysical things, make sure you understand what you're doing, because there are some doors that you can open that even the most knowledgeable people won't be able to close, simply because we don't have the energy to. So my last thought of people is to be very mindful of your energy. Be mindful of the things that you think. Be mindful of the things that you say. Just because you don't say it out loud does not mean that you did not give it energy. Every time you think, especially when you can hear it in your head, that is energy. You are, in a sense, casting that thought into the world. If you don't want it to happen, do not think it. So that's my last thought. Just be mindful of your energy, how you use your energy, and how you focus it towards others, because it whether you believe in it or not, it exists, and it's very, very real and alive in this world.
And you can also, you're on TikTok too, so you
I
can be
am.
reached there. And
Yes.
what's your name there?
It is, I hope it doesn't block me out. Hold on. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, let's see. It is pnw.kitty, Kitty, Leah, Liya.
Okay, and I'll put that in there too. I'll put your TikTok down in the
So,
description too, because that's where I found you, or you found
yeah.
me, or somebody. We found each other, right?
I found you because you were I had hopped in and you were talking to somebody about gastroparesis, and I had just
Yes.
been diagnosed.
Yes.
And yeah, we changed each
And
other's lives.
I know it. That's amazing.
That's how it works.
Yes.
Universal energy.
I know, it's wonderful.
Right place, right time.
Okay. Thank you,
All right, guys.
Leah.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Have a great day. Okay, guys. So that was Leah. Like I said, I just met her on TikTok. She's wonderful. I will put all of her contact information down in the description section of this video when it comes out. You'll be able to contact her through her email address, and we'll go from there. So thanks for coming in. My name is Pharmacist Michael. Be happy and be healthy.